Morning Conference. Mo Razak, NEC. Proposal to change Rule 24 officials. Motion to read, insert a new sub-rule 24B, renumbering the existing 24B and C accordingly as follows. B. The person elected as National Deputy Vice President at a given annual conference shall, at the succeeding annual conferences, be subject to only an affirmative negative vote for the offices of National Vice President, National President, respectively, without any other candidate standing for such offices. Should that person not obtain an affirmative vote, the office will be filled to a similar vote by the immediately junior elected official. Any office left vacant as a result will remain vacant until filled by promotion and/or election at the following annual conference. Rules to be amended accordingly. The rationale. National Deputy Vice President, National Vice President, National President and IPP. The NEC proposes that no change either in term or election at the annual conference. It is considered essential that the role of National President be preceded by 2 years of experience as National Deputy Vice President and National Vice President, and for the continuity, the role of IPP should remain to assist and advise the new National President. It is for that reason that National Deputy Vice President is a 4-year commitment of progression through the ranks. Therefore, while any full partner or affiliate member is eligible to be nominated for National Deputy Vice President, once elected, there should be uncontested progression through the ranks of National Vice President, National President and IPP. However, annual conference should still agree or not each progression by a show of hands, and both annual conference and National Council should retain the ability to remove any official by majority vote. This will make sure that there is a continuity and there is a knowledge base that is there. The Council will have the power, still have that power to remove anyone. So it's not trying to circumvent anything, it's just trying to make sure that we've got the base.
Seconder.
Jason Burks. I arrive on behalf of the NEC to formally second this motion and reserve the right to speak.
Ray.
Ray Manal, South West District. I rise to oppose this motion. I believe in democracy, and just a show of hands in this conference hall with peer pressure and people seeing exactly how you put your hand up, who you voted for, I don't think is democratic. I think it needs a proper vote as per the keypads. I think if National Council really had time to consider this, which we were presented this very last minute, I think they would have thought that through if we had a proper discussion and debate on the item. It's not really democratic. I think the way we've got it now, in that you have a proper keypad vote, is the way to do it, so none of us are subject to peer pressure. Please oppose this motion.
Next speaker.
Good morning, Conference. Nrinder Randall, West Midlands. I rise to oppose this motion. As Ray said, it's about freedom of choice. It's there from National Council, but there was, in double figures, National Council reserved the right. It was at the last minute, and it definitely affects freedom of choice. Ray's right. How many people are not comfortable putting their hand up? I don't want to support him, but I have to support him, or her, or I want to support him, but the rest don't want me to support him. It's got to be by the pads, and I think it's wrong to give. Can you withdraw, or if not, please oppose this motion 100%.
Ask for withdrawal. No. Peter.
Conference, this motion was put to the NEC from a committee and then put to National Council before the nominations for this annual conference. So don't tie this in with what happened on Monday. The rationale for this is that, and again, this is where I disagree with Ray. There has been in the past a complete disconnect between one national president and another national president. The idea is to get the team working together and get continuity. So it's not a stop-start annual thing. There is a continuity, a plan to drive the Federation forward. Now, I disagree with the democracy argument because it is clear anyone, and I believe wholeheartedly that any member of the Federation can become national president. They do it by standing for National Deputy Vice President and then serving the apprenticeship of National Deputy Vice President, National Vice President, and then President. And the idea has always been, from the day that we were founded in 1919, that provides a continuity. It means that the work streams that have taken in one year are continued into the next year without a break going forward. Any national board of PLC or whatever, they do not elect their executives, their directors on a one-year term. They try and have some form of continuity, unless there's something drastic going on. They try and have some form of continuity. And that's what this is trying to encourage by having a succession through. Whether you like the present NEC setup, whether you like the fact that we have been here for 2 years or not, I don't think anyone, from what I've spoken to over this annual conference, has said that we haven't achieved quite a bit during this 2-year process, or 2.5-year process, under very extreme circumstances of the pandemic. And we've been able to do that because it's been continuity of the President, the Vice President, the IPP and the Deputy Vice President working together with the NEC as a team. The original other motion that was actually ruled out of order, this was part of a series of motions that were put to National Council. The other part of it was that the NEC should be elected on a 3-year term by rotation, just the same as we do already with our national trustees. It brings out less conflict. We know where we are, we know where we're going, and we can plan for the future without this stop-start, all change every year coming into focus. I believe in evolution. I don't believe in things changing drastically year in, year out. I would much rather see us agree a plan. There's going to be a 5-year plan coming on later. Agree a plan and then stick to it. There should be no personalities involved in this. It should be a team effort. Now, I believe wholeheartedly that any member of the Federation has a right to become the President of the Federation, but they have to serve the apprenticeship of going through the National Deputy Vice President and Vice President. You wouldn't expect a gas engineer or electrician working on your house not to have served an apprenticeship. And it's very, very difficult. And I do hope that our new national president, I wish him the very, very best, because it's going to be exceedingly difficult for him to come in without knowing the work streams, without knowing the team in Durham, and he is going to need all the help he can get. And I wish him well for the benefit of this federation, because I don't want this stop-start all to go through. We are democratic, and anyone can become national president. But let's go through the process. Thank you.
Okay, conference. I'm rising here to actually ask you to get 100% behind this. And I've taken my chain off, and I've done that for a reason. Because I want to talk about what's just taken place. I also wish actually the new president the best of luck. And I will do my utmost, if allowed, to assist that president to move forward. But this is the problem. What we've done is not about democracy. No, it's absolutely about... Okay, point of order. You take the chair. You just take the chair. I took the chair.
Okay, conference. I've been asked actually just to take the chair for this item. So, are you finished on...
No, he's got a point of order.
We've got the motion, asked for vote.
He's got a point of order.
On the point of order, sorry.
As chairman, he cannot go on a motion. He's impartial. He can't just say something, then decide to give his chairmanship up. Completely resign, not just come back again.
Well, the chairman has actually vacated the chair.
For good of this conference or just until this motion?
For this item, just.
Yeah, but no, he didn't before he went for the motion. He spoke on the motion before resigning.
He took the chain off and laid the chain down.
But he didn't resign publicly.
And then went over there
Yeah,
and wanted to speak in his own right.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. He did not ask permission of the council. He did it off his own back without asking anybody. And then, when he realized, I stood up, he said, I've resigned my chairmanship. So I don't think it's right. He shouldn't be allowed to speak. He's a chairman, independent. That's the whole point of a chairman.
Yep. Have you finished or not?
No, I haven't even started.
He has vacated the chair. The conference will have to decide on what he says and whether that affects your opinion on how you vote in the motion.
Okay, so I'll carry on. So the reason why I've vacated that chair... Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. He's vacated the chair. Now I'm going to ask you, conference, whether you are going to allow Stuart to speak in his own right on this, having vacated the chair. So you're going to have a show of hands whether you allow Stuart to speak on information to this situation. So it's down in your hands to make that decision. So, show of hands for those that, if conference is going to allow him to speak. Allow him to speak. You're voting for.
Got behind you as well.
A show of hands.
Mark, you've got behind you as well.
Right, okay. Show of hands against Stuart speaking. I think it's lost.
I can speak.
No, you can't speak. Sorry, it was very narrow majority. Any more speakers?
James Wilkinson, Yorkshire. My main objection is, and I agree with the sentiments of the top table on the progression going forwards, but I can't see anything in the rule book where they add the thing at the bottom on the progression, on the rationale, doesn't match the motion, where it says each progression by show of hands and both annual constitution would be obtained the ability to remove any official. So it's the show of hands. I always think democracy involves secret ballots and all the rest of it and not being able to be influenced.
Okay.
And I remember us stood at Harrogate where we voted in the national president and we did it by keypad.
Okay, James, can I just correct you what the policy is? It was at a meeting in Cardiff where National Council passed a resolution and set the policy on voting. And that policy set by National Council, where there is one candidate only, it shall be by a show of hands. Where there's more than one candidate, it shall be done by the voting pads. Now, National Council, as per the rule book, can set the policy on voting. So if National Councillors aren't happy with that policy on voting, they need to put a motion to the next National Council meeting.
To come back, my only statement is that presumably that is not in the rule book. Is that correct? Yeah. The business about the policy. This is not in the rule book. The rules clearly states, well, as far as we know, that we always have keypads. No. But I know what you're saying, the policy of the show of hands if there's only one candidate. But within this rule, you're creating one candidate.
No, that's rationale where it says that.
Yes, precisely.
The rule book says National Council decide on the method of voting.
Right. So we could come,
and
presumably...
National Council set that policy.
So presumably we could come to conference and turn around and say, by the way, under this Rule 24, we would like keypad and not show of hands. Is that correct or not correct?
You can actually go to National Council and do
conference, because where we vote is conference.
Annual conference is the ruling body, but as the rule was set by National Council, that's the policy. Now, either National Council can change it, or you can bring it back to Council, can overrule National Council setting policy.
Whatever you say, but what I'm trying to say is the rationale is different to the motion. That's where I
Well, I think the rationale to me is quoting the existing policy where there's one candidate. Is there any more speakers? Who was seconded that round? Okay. Does conference agree that this motion should be put? No, we're asking, it's a show of hands. We've had a proposal and a second that the motion be put. I'm asking conference if they agree the motion should be put, James. You don't need a keypad, you need your hand up or down. Okay, conference agree that it should be put. No, we need a proper debate on this. Okay, just those that don't wish it to be put. There's a lot of people not voting, but actually the overruling thing is it should not be put at this time. Is there any more speakers? Do you want to sum up? You're entitled. No. The proposal was, should it be put now? You rejected that opportunity to put it now, but then there's no more speakers. Not to put on, no. There was a proposal the motion should now be put. And seconded, you actually voted that it shouldn't be put now, but there isn't any more speakers, so I've asked the person to sum up.
Thank you.
Abdul Qadir, Scotland. I mean, this is becoming a real farce. We've got a very important motion up there, and we're trying to curtail debate. We should let people come up, say what they want, for or against, like with the rest of the other motions. I know there's been too many motions, but this is a very important motion. And, you know, we need more people to sort of give their 2 pennies worth, to pee or not to pee. So I'm really looking for some more people to sort of have a say before we go to vote. Thank you.
Okay. No more speakers? Okay. Colin, if you hang on a sec, I've got somebody over here.
Ibrahim Laher, Northwest District. How does this all tie in? Yesterday, there was a motion here to train the vice president or a deputy vice president for the new technology. Right? We're going to spend money on the deputy vice president and the vice president so that he can learn all the gear of modern technology. And then somebody just comes up and says, right, mate, you go out, so we wasted the money training him. How does that go with that? Self-defeating.
Okay. Colin?
Colin Reid, National Council. I was at the meeting that this was proposed. We didn't have much time to debate it in National Council. All these motions were put forward pretty quickly. We've had 2 times in the last, on all the conferences I've ever been where there's been somebody stand against the President. One was lost and one was won. We don't need this rule because if things carry on properly and everything's done properly, that will never happen. Please vote against this motion.
Okay, Mo, can you sum up?
Okay, thank you very much. Conference, I'm proud to be the National Deputy Vice President. Right. Okay. Is everybody ready now? And I believe in democracy. So by saying that this isn't democratic, I don't agree with that. The reason I believe that this isn't democratic is that if I was to, for instance, I'm going to speak about myself as an example. If I was to go up to Vice President and there was an issue with myself and there was a negative vote against me, I'd put my hand up and step down. That's right. That's every right to do that. But there should be a continuity. There should be training brought in so that the person that's going into office has got all the help he can get and all the training he can get. Because we're in charge of a federation with a lot of staff and a lot of members. And we want the person to be as best ready for it as possible. And that's what this is about. It's nothing else apart from that. And if the Vice President has got the negative vote, then at least the Deputy Vice President with a year's training can go up and take that position. And that's the way it should be, because of the fact is that we need somebody with a knowledge base that's been working with staff and has been going to the committees and everything else. Thank you.
Right, conference ready to vote. Okay, vote now. Item lost.